California is booming. Why are so many Californians unhappy? What we have here is a failure to communicate. Apparently, the writers of the New York Times don't seem to understand what the word booming means, which is more than clear by the article. In San Francisco, Christine Johnson is a public finance consultant with an engineering degree, and she was running for a seat in San Francisco Board of Supervisors. She lost. She couldn't stand the place anymore because of all the poo-poo and needles on the street, which is admitted here in the second paragraph right under the picture. And it's not even like a secret anymore. Excuse me. Today, a year after losing the race, she's out of there, and she left the Bay Area, and now she lives in Denver with her 4-year-old son. In a recent interview, and her husband. Woo, she had a husband in California. Amazing. In a recent interview, she spoke for millions of Californians, past and present, when she described the cloud that high rent and child care cost had cast over her family's saving and future. So there you go. That pretty much nails down what the rest of the article is slamming, is the insane rent and how everything costs a fortune. And that's enough reason for people to go, I'm making a lot of money and I'm having to spend far more than that lot of money on rent. There's one down here at the bottom where it talks about their rent. Oh, it's just crazy. I tell you, crazy. Let's see. Here it goes. Yeah. But this good news comes with a story with a catch. A decade after Mr. McCreary's salary tripled, the rent on his family's small 2-bedroom apartment in Santa Clara more than tripled from a little over $600 to $2,200, including a 35% increase in 1 year. Anybody that lives in California is aware of this. It is happening everywhere. But let's interject a few other things that aren't in this article that talk about how California is booming, but people aren't happy. They talk about how there's all these jobs that pay so much they're open. California's at a crossroads. The state has a thriving $3 trillion economy with record low unemployment. Yes, you may be employed, but you can't cover the bills unless you're in, as someone told me, this is a white-knuckle state. You're either having the best time of your life on a cool roller coaster with white knuckles, or you're hanging on for dear life trying not to die. It is the richest of the rich and the poorest of the poor. And then there's a bunch of people here that pretend to be poor. They aren't poor because they're on social programs. So they're living the life of a moderate person pretending to be poor. And then there's a few suckers, people that really are poor, that aren't on social welfare programs, that are getting slammed by all of the free market destruction that occurs from the social programs. Because if you think grocery stores aren't aware that EBT means that the people can pay more than they would without EBT, and that rich people, well, they just have to knuckle it up. Well, all the people that aren't on EBT, that would be food stamps, or rich, they're the ones that are like, wait a minute, no, I really can't pay those prices. And the store's like, sucks to be you, you could always go on welfare. Because after all, we all know California has most of the welfare recipients of the entire country is all in California. Another reason to not be happy. But in and amongst all these high prices and everything, and it talks about the high jobs, and it talks about, there's all these high-tech jobs waiting to be filled and all this other stuff. But what they don't mention in here anywhere is that in order to get a high-paying job in California, you darn well better be on board for the leftist programs. If you are a MAGA hat wearing Neanderthal, all the other derogatory terms that they have for them, and they find out in your interview or at your job that you support Trump, unlike when Obama was president, everybody's like, oh, Obama, oh, Obama, oh, Obama. Think I'm kidding? There's YouTube videos of people doing that. There's YouTube videos of songs. There's YouTube videos of little kids singing, Obama, Obama, Obama. Their schools were named after Obama on the day he was inaugurated. Trump, on the other hand, you dare mention his name. You will not keep that high-paying job. You will not get that high-paying job. Think I'm kidding? The creator of Firefox, the web browser, Mozilla, he supported the the other one, that marriage is between a man and a woman, Prop 8, back when it happened, when same year Obama was elected for the first time, so 2008. He spent $1,000 on it. They found out, they fired him. By the way, in case you didn't know, Prop 8, the anti-same-sex marriage, passed. It passed. The California voters said they don't want same-sex. In fact, that was the second time in less than 10 years that they voted on the exact same issue. And both times in California, they said marriage is between a man and a woman. It does make one suspicious when you hear all of these polls and quotes saying, well, you know, Americans, they don't care anymore. They're actually on board with same-sex marriage. I really wonder. I really do. Put it on the ballot box again and let's find out. And they won't. No, they won't. Because when it was on the ballot box in all the different states that did it, only one state that put it on the ballot box, because it's not like all 50 states did. Only one state actually passed it, and it wasn't by that much. All the other ones, including California, twice rejected it. So, California's booming. Why are so many Californians happy? Because you have to have more money than anybody could ever imagine just to pay the rent, to pay for your mortgage, whatever the case being. In order to live in a shelter that doesn't have 4 wheels underneath it, you got to shell out way more than anybody could imagine. Then you roll into the fact that you have to walk, march, step with the ideology of the leftist, or they will freaking can you, and they will can you fast, unless you have some magical security device, like some teachers have tenure, but even tenure is tentative when it comes to supporting the current president. Some other things that are fun about this state. Do you know in the state of California, starting July 20th, grades K through 8, it will be against the law, because that's how California does schooling. They don't do it in districts. They do it in Sacramento. It will be against the law in California in grades K through 8 to suspend a child. Period. If a student is completely disruptive, the most that can happen is they're sent to the office, and at the office they'll say, I was sent to the office for being disruptive. And then the person working in the office will say, okay, we'll make a note of it as soon as we can. We will have you meet with a counselor. Now return to the class. That will happen under every circumstance with the exception of being hauled out by the police. If the police do haul the student out, and then when the police are done with them, in a day, in a week, in a month, doesn't matter. Guess where the kid goes back to when they're done with the police? Right back into that exact same classroom. That starts July 20th, 2020 in California. So, yeah, you better be on board with that left ideology. And you better have more money than, as the saying goes, God. Even though I'm pretty sure God doesn't have any money. Then, yeah, that's one of the reasons so many Californians are unhappy and moving. California has the lowest record of incoming population since the year 1900. It's in here somewhere. I read it in a different article, but it's in here as well. So, people ain't digging this state no more. There it is right there. That helps explain why the state has lost more than 1 million residents to other states since 2006, and why the population growth rate for the year that ended July 1st was the lowest since 1900. And if you mention that to California, you're like, no, because the traffic is so much worse. And they're just like, it's gotten more concentrated, but they're not coming in. I think it was, you can look up the number, but it was under 100,000 people came to the state. Pretty sure it was around 35,000. It was, or 40,000. It's under 100,000. The entire population grew by under 100,000 because people are just bailing on this place. California is a needle-ridden, poop-ridden, homeless, leftist freaking paradise. And it does mention in here that all the other states used to look up to California and want to be it, and now they're all dreading it with all of their embers, and they're passing all these laws to prevent becoming Californianized. Well, that seems to make sense, but good luck with it. And with the governor that we have in California, joy, it's going to be a mess. All we can do is hope that what happened in the UK happens in California New York, maybe Texas, and all of America, which is the regular people get sick of the ultimate failure that is always the result of the left touching anything. The longer the leftists touch it, the more they ruin it. They took the Golden State and turned it into less than fool's gold. They've made New York, which used to be the most populous state, deplete into a shivering island known as Manhattan, and we're pretty much done. They ruin everything they touch. Comic books, movies, states, schools. If you like this channel and you want to keep more coming, go ahead and hit like, subscribe, but more importantly, if you want the channel to grow, because you do like the channel and you want it to grow, then share the video, because that is YouTube's favorite thing out of all of the things to help it spread. We released a video this morning, and it didn't go out. Nobody got a subscription notice. And so that's what it's like when you have a channel that comes from the right. They not only won't promote you, sometimes they won't even send out the dinger to tell people, oh, the bell has rung. You now have a new video from the Tea Party Hardy channel. Nope. So that video is going to stay flat because nobody even got noticed. And it's not like we get promoted when we go to the section on the analytics where it says how many videos were watched because of suggested videos. None. There's no suggested videos for this channel. So again, if you want to help, that would be helpful. Other than that, we wish you a very happy new year. And if you live in California, we're sorry. If you're leaving California, congratulations. You're about to be living in a gigantic house for 1/3 to 1/8 the rent, and you might even make more money all in all. If you don't live in California, don't do it. Come here for vacation if you'd like, but don't stay. And if you're going to go to San Francisco, bring your snow boots so you don't have to worry about stepping in the poo or the needles. Happy New Year, everybody.